Hey, hello everyone. My name is Germano and I'm here with my friend Ronald, and today we'll be discussing to you what is syntax. In this presentation, we will be discussing to you how syntax is important and how we can apply tools of syntax in order to understand the Hebrew Bible. Syntax is something that just happens naturally. Without realizing it, you can see that your syntax might be right or wrong. The native speaker, they learn syntax in a very naturalistic way. They speak in a correct syntax without realizing it. In order to have an accurate translation of the text, we use certain tools such as book, grammar, and lexicons. The mental process by which a person extracts meaningful information from the written text is known as exegesis, and the mental process by which a person understands and explains such an information is known as exposition. On the other hand, lexicon help in the study of the meaningful information conveyed by words. And syntax is the study of the meaningful information conveyed by the sequential order in which the words of a text are arranged. When it comes to linguistics, syntax refers to the rules that govern the way in which words combine to perform phrase, clauses, and sentence. The term comes from Greek word meaning to arrange or putting together. Syntax is the proper order of words in a phrase or in a sentence. Syntax is a tool that helps us to understand or to grasp the meaning of the sentence or the clause in itself. As we have said before, syntax is the arrangement of the word in a sentence, clause, and phrases. Syntax is the study of the formation of sentence and relationship between them, how they combine to each other, how they are related to each other. In a language such as English, we have the main device to show relationship among those words, and it's called word-order. In English, we have a sentence such as subject, verb, and object. While in Hebrew, we have a different order. We have the verb and subject and the predicate, the verb, subject, and object. Now we come to the importance of syntax. Why is syntax so important for us to understand the biblical Hebrew? On this presentation, I will be suggesting to you 6 points, and I hope that it will be helpful in order for us to understand the biblical Hebrew. Number 1. God chooses to communicate His inspired word in a particular language, and that's Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic. Therefore, understanding the syntax of those languages is very crucial for a serious Bible student. The second point is about biblical exegesis. A serious biblical exegesis begins with its original text and not with a translation. Studying the syntax, it will help us understand the original context of the passage. Number 3. Knowing biblical Hebrew unveils the different options for interpreting the text. Knowing the semantic or the syntax of the sentence, it offers a broader understanding and variation of application of a certain text. Knowing the biblical language enables us to access exegetical tools like grammars, lexicons, commentaries, and syntax help us to interpret the original text and the meaning of the passage that the author intended to. Step number 5. In doing syntax, we develop a careful and detailed hermeneutical approach. Point number 6. Syntax helps us to understand the rhetorical features that are lost in translation, such as alliteration, assonance, poetic structure, chiasm, marked and unmarked. Now we go to the application of syntax, and my friend Ronald will show you how does it applies in the book of Deuteronomy 10:12 to 13.
In Deuteronomy chapter 10 verse 12 and 13 we have two participles, one in the beginning and the other at the end. In the beginning it reads, "And now Israel, what does the Lord your God ask of you?" And in the end it reads, "Which I command you today in regard for your good." It is interesting to note that different versions of the Bible translate the participle differently. Some translate it as require, others ask, some others want, still others demand, desire, or require. How do we determine which is the best possible translation for the participle. Different translations translate the participle as command, am giving, or I charge thee today that it may be well with thee. Along with these two participles, we have infinitives to fear, to walk, to love, to serve, to keep, and to your good, which are a part of this verse which needs translation. The first participle comes from the root word ask or request. It is a call and designates a single action. Concerning definiteness, it has no definite outcome. It expresses action in terms of general hoping without a goal. The last participle concerning what Moses was saying is a command. It is a PL. It reflects multiplicity of actions. It points to a definite outcome and carries the action forward to a definite goal. This is the difference between the call verb participle as well as the PL verb participle. The context of these two participles, the first one, after receiving the 10 commandments a second time, Moses comes down to the people. He makes his opening remarks and says, "And now Israel, what does the Lord your God ask of you?" This is an historic fact, comparatively a transitory act relating to a particular event. The participle in the sentence talks of what God asks of the Israelites. It is something that is enduring, but it reflects an event in which this statement was made. The historicity of the event is embodied in the participle. Concerning the second participle, after making his initial remarks, Moses tells to the Israelites. He tells them of what God expects of them. Moses then commands the people to keep the commandments of Yahweh. And then he says, "Which I command you this day for your good." Moses is commanding the people, and the participle gives the command a more enduring, lasting emphasis. This participle implies that the command is for all times. The first participle, the absolute participle, indicates the historicity of the event embodied in the participle. And the call stem helps us decide to translate the participle as desire and not as a demand or not as a want. The participle portrays God as not demanding or being forceful. The larger context of the passage portrays God as a loving God who wants us to choose to fear Him, to walk in His ways, to love Him, to serve Him, and to choose to keep His commandments. The last participle, the construct participle, indicates the perpetuality of the command to obey for all times. The PL stem helps us to decide to translate the participle as a command and not as giving or charging, which is not a part of the meaning of the word. The PL form indicates that a superior is giving the command. Moses is using the pronoun I in expressing his command, that he is the one giving the command. Friends, I'm thankful for you all for having spent your time to see this video on syntax. Why is it important for us to understand biblical Hebrew? And I'm sure you'll be inspired if you plan to do theology, to understand what it means to study the biblical languages and find the precious truths in the Word of God. May God bless you, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.